What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good day to you. And the prestigious Heisman Trophy Award finalists for this year have been announced. It went down on Monday night. We're going to talk about the 4 candidates in this segment. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that follow button. The Heisman Trophy Award presentation is coming up this coming weekend. That is December 14th, where one of these 4 players will win that prestigious award. Now let's talk about the candidates. We got a running back, 2 quarterbacks, and a defensive back and a wide receiver. Let's start with the running back, Ashton Jeanty, 5'9", 250-pound junior running back out of Jacksonville, Florida, who plays for Boise State. His regular season stats: 344 carries, 2,497 yards, 29 touchdowns, and he averaged 7.3 yards per carry. He put up some big numbers against quite a few schools. And he did this by not even playing in some of the second half in a lot of those games. He put up 267 yards against Georgia Southern, 209 yards against UNLV in the Mountain West Championship game, 226 yards against Oregon State, and 192 yards against Oregon, where they played them close and they lost that game. And the number 10 Boise State, they are in the 12-team playoff, and they got one of the 4 seeds. They are the 4th seed, so they get a bye with a 12-1 record. Now, Jeanty is close to breaking the legendary Hall of Fame running back Barry Sanders' collegiate career rushing yards record. I think he needs roughly 126 yards. So again, Ashton Jeanty, one of the finalists for the Heisman Trophy Award. Now let's move to quarterback Dillon Gabriel, who transferred to Oregon from Oklahoma, the 6', 200-pound senior. Quarterback is out of Hawaii. His regular season stats: 3,558 yards, 28 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, 86.5 QBR. In that Big Ten championship game where Oregon defeated Penn State, he put up some pretty good numbers: 22 of 32, 283 yards, 4 touchdowns. Again, in the win over Penn State. And Oregon, well, they came and took over the Big Ten. Their first year in the Big Ten Conference, and they get a championship as well as the number 1 seed in this year's college football playoff. They get a bye, and they are the only undefeated team in the conference playoff. Again, Dillon Gabriel, a transfer from Oklahoma to Oregon, where you remember Oregon had another transfer quarterback that was up for the Heisman Trophy, Bo Nix, last year, who transferred in from Auburn. So that is Dillon Gabriel. Now let's move to the U, Cam Ward, the 6'2", 223-pound senior out of West Columbia, Texas. He is another finalist for the Heisman Trophy Award. His regular season stats: 4,123 yards, 36 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, 88 QBR. He led the Hurricanes to a 10-2 record. They will play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which will be played on December the 28th. He threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns versus Duke. I actually watched that game, and I was thoroughly impressed with the transfer. He transferred into the Hurricanes as well, but they did hit a speed bump. They lost to Syracuse. That if they would have won that game, that would have put them in the ACC championship, and so now they could have been possibly in that 12-team playoff, but that kind of knocked them out. But again, he had some pretty good games. He also put up 349 yards in the air and 2 touchdowns against, again, that Syracuse team. And he had a pretty good game against his in-state rival, Florida, as well. Now, let's move to the one guy that plays 2 positions. Travis Hunter, 6'1", 185-pound DB out of Sewanee, Georgia, who plays for the Colorado Buffaloes. He is probably, in my mind, the front runner for this award. You know, as far as the cornerback position, it's kind of hard to judge a guy as far as their numbers. The numbers not going to jump out at you like the offensive players' numbers. But he did play wide receiver, and he's a top 5 receiver in the country, in my opinion. He had 92 receptions, 1,152 yards, 14 TDs. He averaged 12.5 yards per catch. His biggest game, one of his biggest games, he had 10 receptions, 116 yards, 3 TDs versus Oklahoma State in that season finale. Again, the Colorado Buffaloes, I believe, are in the Alamo Bowl. And again, Travis Hunter, 2-way player. Again, offense, the quarterbacks didn't look his way. According to stats, he was only targeted 34 times, and that was 8.8% of the time when he played cornerback. He had 3 interceptions, 31 tackles, 22 solo. He had a tackle for loss, and he had that game-winning forced fumble versus Baylor, and that was another game that he went off at the wide receiver position as well. So there you have it, the 4 candidates for this year's Heisman Trophy winner. I think it's a 2-man race, in my opinion, between Travis Hunter and running back Ashton Jeanty. I think all 4 of these guys are definitely outstanding college football players, but I just think Travis Hunter, he's done something that has never been done. He's played both ways. He's played 80% of the time. Probably 90% of the time, he was on the field, on offense and defense. And then, oh, by the way, he's chasing another record. He would be the second defensive player to ever win an award. Charles Woodson was the first defensive back, Hall of Famer for the Michigan Wolverines. He did it in 1997. So, I'd like to know who you guys got, who you think should win it, but who you think is probably going to win it. I think Travis Hunter should win it, and I think he is going to win it, and I just think it's a two-man race between him and Ashton Jeanty. I'd like to know your thoughts. Talk to me in the comments. I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. Don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.